Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. My name is Martha Brown, and I am your volunteer with Dementia Friendly Fort Worth. We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am your host for today's activities. Our topic for today is Love, brought to you by Peggy Spear from the Amon Carter Museum of American Art. I cannot wait to see what Peggy has in store for us. Peggy,
Martha, it should be coming to you from a corner of my bedroom to hide from my children today. We are not. All right, let me share my screen.
If they come in, it's love, They want to share their love with you.
Right.
Yes.
Nothing but love.
Morning, Janine and John.
Morning. John's asleep, so it's just me today.
Okie dokie. Glad to have you.
All right, so we're going to talk about love, but some of these are a reach for love, but we'll get there together. All right, so this is one of our first artworks we're going to look at. Does anyone remember what these are called?
They're called
Stereographs.
Stereographs, right. So this is kind of a grainy one, but can you tell me what you see here?
Looks like an ice cave.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Or icicles and some little what do you call them, cupids holding a sign.
Yes, cupids. And can you read what the sign says? Do you guys need
Your
to read
Valentine for you know who.
So it's a bit of a secret admirer situation.
Oh.
So this is kind of a funny, it's entitled February. So you've got kind of the two things you think about when you think of February, right? You've got your Valentine.
Of course.
You've also got that gross cold that we always called in our family growing up. February was always the dark side of winter. Like you just wanted to skate through the month of February, at least in our house. It was just, wanted it to be spring. So I feel like it's kind of a funny, the inclusion of what you think of with February. Does anyone else have that kind of view of February, or does anyone have warmer thoughts of February?
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
And it's down here. February is pretty. Today it's cold, but it's got more sunshine. Today usually they're starting to begin to spring.
This artist, he was from, I want to say New Hampshire. So cold.
I talked to my brother the other day,
Right. New Hampshire.
in North Dakota, and he says it's only 26 degrees below zero.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
No, thank you.
Yeah, right. No, thank you.
Where is he?
He's in North Dakota.
Oh,
North Dakota, yeah.
So yeah, so he was this particular artist. There's not much known about him, but this stereograph was about an estimated numbers around 400 he made in 7 years from 1871 to 1878, somewhere around there. He made 400 of what these scenes were called sentimental scenes or allegoric scenes. So you could, and they were extremely popular. So he would release some of these around particular holidays. So for example, he had ones that were really, people really liked, of Santa Claus coming out of the chimney, or Jack Frost. It's something that looked like Jack Frost outside, like these kind of sweet, sentimental, allegorical stories that everyone knew, and he was able to kind of capture them into some sort of, scene that you would be viewing on a stereograph. And I can't tell in this one, and maybe you guys can tell me what you think. I can't tell if he actually put a cherub and its sign, if he put it in this ice cave, or if he manipulated the photograph and then dropped this cutout piece on the negative to make it what it is.
I'm not sure it's a real ice cave, to be honest with you.
You don't think so? What makes
No,
you,
I
what
think
makes
it's
you
a
say that?
setup. Well, because I've seen ice caves and they don't look like what this one looks like. This looks like it's got some water that's dripped down a surface, and I can't tell what it is behind it. I can't tell if it's rocks or something, but just the way the thing's shaped and being able to focus on the card kind of makes me feel like it's staged.
Yeah.
Yeah, staged. Yeah. So do you think maybe, because he definitely took a photograph of it.
Yeah.
So do you think maybe it was like he poured water in a cup and somehow it was cold enough outside that he could create almost like a micro scene? Or do you think
Yeah,
he
something like that.
things like,
Yeah.
what do you, yeah, but not, you don't think this was actually happening in nature?
No, I don't think that's a real ice cave. No.
To the right of the cherubs and the sign are two icicles. Yes, those two icicles look
They're
like
two
they're very small and have been blown up.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Is that
Look
what
like
you
too
saw? Doc?
symmetrical too.
Yeah, the two symmetrical.
symmetrical?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the answers to these speculations, but this era in photography, it was when a lot of artists were manipulating photographs. They figured out how they can, you know, there's one photograph in our collection of a man, normal size, holding a grasshopper by its feet, and the grasshopper is the same size as him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this fooling and trickery happened, and people were expecting it, but maybe, you know, this, I don't think we're being tricked or are not meant to see the humor. I think we're just kind of to reflect on this, almost a blue Valentine, so to speak, of cold, and it could be from any Valentine, you know who, fill in the blank in your head of who you want that Valentine to be from.
Oh, you are making me feel so lonesome for my darkroom. I used to have my own darkroom. I used to develop my own film and print my own photos.
Would you manipulate your pictures and kind of create these scenes, or would you?
Well, not to this extent, but yeah, I did. You know, I changed the lighting around and, you know, made some looks darker, and, you know, oh God, I loved it. And my daughter Holly, our daughter Holly, she used to help me. She was my assistant, and she loved it too.
How special. Well, I'm sure she has some of those pictures then that y'all developed together. You should try to dig them up if you know where they are, or if your husband knows where they are.
No, I know where mine are. I have no idea where hers are.
And she probably thinks you know where they are.
Moved, probably not around at all.
All right, we're going to go to our next artwork.
Whoa.
So this is the Diana.
Diana.
Have any of you been in the museum in the last, I think it went up in 2017. Have any of you been in the museum to see this sculpture in person?
Oh.
I saw it at the Bass.
Martha, I'm glad you said that. I did not pay her to say that. So you saw her, but what color did you see her in?
Gold.
Gold. So this particular artwork, first let me tie it to the love theme. This is of the goddess Diana. Does anyone know the story of Diana?
Her brother said she was a huntress.
Yes, she was the goddess of hunting. And to live her life as she wanted in the woods, she was to never marry, to be a virgin her whole life. And that was kind of the trade-off. So she could live the life she wanted. She had to give up something that women might want. So anyway, one day she was out hunting, and she was bathing actually before she was hunting, and she noticed the hunter Actaeon saw her. And because of the deal, she was not allowed to be seen in the nude. And so she splashed her water onto Actaeon the hunter, and Actaeon turned into a dog, I believe. No, a deer, excuse me, a stag. And then his own hunting dogs, killed him. So this is, the curator of this particular piece always calls it a frustrated love. Actaeon was excited to see her, but then punished for seeing her and eventually killed. So this sculpture is of Diana, the goddess, naked, hunting in the woods. But what is she missing that we can kind of fill in her hands?
Bow and
Arrow.
arrow.
Bow and arrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the cement version, and this, you can't really tell for scale. This is about 13 feet tall.
Ooh.
It's very high. The sculpture itself, I want to say, is maybe 7 or 8 feet, but then on the podium and everything, it's very tall and very heavy. It's made, as you can see, of cement and plaster. So this particular, does anyone know the story of this, of how the Diana, this particular sculpture came to be? This is a very popular tabletop size sculpture that Augustus St. Gaudens created. This one. I'm sure you've seen versions of this at other museums across the country. This is kind of like other artworks we've seen. Any museum worth its weight in salt has a version of this. You could have bought it at Tiffany's in the day. So this is the tabletop version. You might have it on, you know, a credenza or on your mantelpiece. This was much larger. Any guesses on what this might have been used for when it at this size?
World's Fair.
Oh, World's Fair, that's a good guess. It was a weather vane on top of the Madison Square Garden, the original Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
So the original version of Diana that went on the building was 18 feet tall. Well, they quickly realized that this was way too heavy to balance and work functionally as a weather vane. She had like a draping cloth almost on her. It was too heavy, so they scaled it down to 13 feet. And it was up on Madison Square Garden for a while under electric lights. So in the mid 1800s, what do you think the reaction was of a naked woman higher than the Statue of Liberty under electric light? What do you think people thought?
Scandalous.
That's
Scandalous.
right.
Oh, it was the drama of the century, having this woman naked. And so many women claimed to be the model for this particular sculpture. And we don't know who the model was, but in newspapers, it was interviews with who the model was and things like that. And it's not true. So this, for a few years, was up on Madison Square Garden, and then they tore the Madison Square Garden down. So everybody had an interest in what was going to happen to this Diana, because she really was kind of a sensation in the city. And this topic of Diana, or this subject Diana, was typically an artist's way of, at that day and age, creating a nude. It was because the goddess was nude in nature, that was their way of getting away with depicting a nude and so there was still a little scandal to that. Anyway, they took her down, and she went to the New York City Museum and was in hiding, so to speak, was in crate storage for years. Well, it turned out, and I'm going to play it's a 5-minute video. It's going to talk about the conservation. We made it here at the museum, and it's really interesting because I can't do justice to how beautifully conserved this was. It eventually came to the Amon Carter, and it came in 2 pieces. We had it in storage for 2 pieces, and we didn't know we had it in storage. It was kind of one of those crates that just, it wasn't on any curator's radar. But the Bass Hall one, sculpture, this was the cast model that was used for the Bass Hall one. And this was the cast model that was used for this version in gold at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. So we know she has 2 daughters, so to speak, that generated from this cast. And this exact cast lived in the backyard when it was created. This cast was then put, it was in the museum for a while, but it was also in Stanford White's backyard. Stanford White was the architect of Madison Square Garden. He loved it so much on the top of MSG that he had it for his own backyard, and it lived for a while outside, not protected, in the elements, this cement plaster cast, for a very long time. And then it eventually came down, and that's when it entered into museums and things like that. So I'm going to play this video. It's 5 minutes, but it really is a wonderful way to hear how we then brought Diana back to life almost 100 years later. Let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear the music?
No.
No.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna pull it up on YouTube then. Stay with me.
Technology.
I know, can't live with it, can't live without it, huh?
No.
You just quoted me.
I'm gonna have to leave before the video's done, Peggy, so I've got another
Okay.
call, but I just wanted to let you know. And I'll see everybody tomorrow after when I leave.
Jeopardy tomorrow, Steve.
All right, well, I'll jeopardize myself.
Okay.
Yeah, learn all the facts.
Hey, have a good day. Stay off the ice.
All right, now I'm gonna try to share screen again. Sorry, gang. Thanks for bearing with me.
It's okay. If we were
Here we go.
perfect, it wouldn't be much fun.
Okay. Whoop. Can you hear it now?
Yes, I think.
No.
No,
No, I heard something, but then it went away.
Can you hear it?
no.
Sounds like there's a little bit of music in the background, but not much.
I don't hear any music.
Well, shoot, gang. I don't know how to make the sound play.
But there was text on it. Couldn't we just?
Are you
read the
guys
text?
okay with reading the caption?
Yeah, we
Sure.
love capture.
Okay.
Sure.
That's how I live my life.
Our curator is the one narrating it.
She's beautiful. Oh.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's my girl.
Is she showing her medal? Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Split personality.
Huh.
Ouch.
Getting her shot. Very good.
How long did that
Thank you.
process take, Peggy?
How can you not clap for Eric?
Peggy's
You
on
are-
mute. She's coming off mute as soon as she figures that out. We love you, Peggy. It's okay. Are you going to have to go away and come back? No? Okay.
Guys, I'm having a time. I am
Oh,
really
you are
sorry.
back.
Hey,
You're back.
You're
We
back.
love you, Peggy.
So how long did that take? Sorry, y'all. Thanks for
Just
bearing
a
with
few
me.
minutes.
Seconds.
It was over the course of about a year.
A year.
Only because the conservationist Adam is based in Philadelphia. So we would have to do things in sessions, but then he came during the week of Thanksgiving and was only working on it for 3 full days. And then everything had to kind of set. And then he came back in December and then was able to put the rice paper and do the different, the blending in of her waist. So let me pull it back up. It's impeccable, the work he did to really fuse the top with the bottom. I mean, this is kind of a grainy image, but you cannot see a line. In person, you wouldn't be able to see the line either.
Yeah.
So, and then getting the scans that were early on with the tunnel company. So all said and done, if you combined it together, it was probably about 2 or 3 weeks of actual work, but
Okay.
things took time and
Right.
had to set and the printing of the 3D pieces, things like that. So it was just stuff had to be done in chunks. And so we know in that video, and it was the curator, Maggie, the woman that was with the kind of red hair that was sitting with the image or, you know, with the sculpture and different images. We found that image of this sculpture in Stanford White's garden. So we know that at that point in time, she never had a bow and arrow. For a long time, we had a question, did this come with a bow and arrow and we just lost it over time? As far as we know, the second, or as long as Stanford White had it, there was never a bow and arrow. So almost since its creation, there was never one actually included. And 2, we know that he didn't paint it any color. It wasn't gold, gild or, you know, gold leafing on top. It was always the cement color. So that finding that image of the sculpture in his garden was really answered a lot of our historical questions on what the original looked like. So we tried in the, you can see the base of the podium. We tried to create a podium that looked very similar to what was in Stanford White's garden. That is not real. That's all wood. And then he did not have her restored in a way that would have had any color. And when they did different testing of the filaments and chips and everything, there was never an indication that there was a color on it as well.
It reminds me of that poem, I shot an arrow into the air, it landed I know not where.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have no idea where this arrow would have gone.
You could change it and say, she shot an arrow into the air, it landed I know not where, or she knows not where, she knew not where, or whatever.
And the curator, her name is Maggie, that kind of rediscovered Diana down in the basement, was an Olympic archer. So she has a very keen affection to this artwork.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah.
Reunion.
All right, well, we're moving along. We'll do one more artwork. I'll show, we have a couple more images, but we can kind of talk about this one more specifically. So this is by an artist named Ben Sean. And we've talked about, he did this with tamarind. Tamarind was, does anyone remember what tamarind was?
It's a fruit.
Tamarin was
Isn't it?
oh, go ahead, Janine. Spice.
Never mind. It was a spice, is what I thought it was.
Turmeric, I think, is what you might be thinking of.
Yeah.
I know where turmeric is known for being a creative kind of spice, but that spice did not teach these artists. So Tamarind is a studio is a better word, that originally was in LA, and then in the 1960s, and then in 1971, it moved to the University of Arizona. And it is a lithography studio. And the way that this studio worked, and it's still to this day, is that artists who were known for creating artwork in typically painters, but sculptors as well, would be invited to come for a 6-week stay at this studio and learn the craft of lithography. And at this time in the 1960s, the United States was really trying, it had been for a while, but now was really trying to elevate lithography as a fine art, even though it was a work on paper. So they were trying to create this environment of even artists of the upper echelon are creating artwork, are exploring their creativity in this very, very old methodology, but now bringing a freshness to it. So Ben Shahn, and I'm going to show you two other artworks. Ben Shahn, this artwork by Clinton Adams, and then this artwork by James Strum, I think Botten is how you say his name. They were all done at the lithography school at Tamarin in that studio, but they were all well-known painters. So they were trying to translate their subject matter, their themes into a very different medium. Ben Shahn had his stint in 1968, and he died in 1969. When he was in the prime of his career, he was really well-known artist while he was creating. He was an immigrant from Lithuania, and then created a name for himself. He initially started in lithography, then went to painting. He dabbled in other things like photography. But by the time he was making this in 1968, he was no longer doing the social realism that really made him famous. He was creating more from his emotional state at that point. So what do you see here that you might relate to, not relate to, like, don't like?
The other person, I guess that must be the female. She reminds me of somebody who has cancer and lost her hair.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So Ben Shahn was married to a woman named Tilly. We don't know if this is a portrait or just a depiction of a warm embrace. Before I saw the title, to me, it looked like a child, but not a child, a grown-up child hugging a parent. For that same reason, the hair was kind of thinning and missing. And then I saw the title as Making Memories of Making Love, which I was like, okay, this is not a father, son, daughter scene, whatever.
It looked like a baby to me until I saw the size of the other hands.
Yeah.
Yes, baby. Yes, the hair is what's really kind of throwing it off, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like Yetta's interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
That's how hair looks when it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I know by experience.
Yeah, so he was creating these artworks at this time in his life that were very graphic, that allowed some viewers to kind of put themselves in that scene. This is a very relatable type of embrace for most people. And so Yetta, you did exactly what he was hoping. You kind of saw yourself in that embrace. You were able to, see parts of you, even though we don't know who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a very tender scene. I don't know if and when this has ever been on view on the walls in our museum, but it's one of these artworks that everybody has in their museum as well. And you can actually, this artwork and this artwork are still on auction in the marketplace right now. So you can go to different auction houses and be able to buy these prints. They're still in circulation. So these are the other two. This is another artist that was at the Tamarind studio. This particular man was actually the director of the Tamarind studio. He was a professor. So when he was in LA, he was running it. And then he took a professorial job at the University of Arizona and then was still able to be the director of this studio. So he had a lot of experience with lithography, but he was also a painter as well. And so this one is, the title is Astarte. Does anyone know who Astarte is? For all you mythology buffs, this is a Hebrew or Egyptian god of love and sexuality. So we see the heart, and there's not much written about what the meaning of this artwork is, but I think it's very beautiful. It's very simple. Does anyone like this one or not care for it, or? Nah.
Yeah.
It's just okay.
Yeah. And
Looks
then this
like
is
body
the,
parts.
it does look like body parts.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah, it's not, and it's not like the chambers of the heart either. There's not enough chambers. So it's very
It looks like
body part-esque.
a lap picture.
A lap picture, yeah. Someone reclining in their beach chair, taking pictures of their knees, you know.
It's
Yeah, there you go.
It looks to me like a woman in a strapless bra and a low-cut dress, but it's got hair on her chest.
that is probably the genitalia. That's my thought.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
taken
That's what
from
you thought?
below and up.
Yep.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
right
so-
in the middle.
Seemingly innocuous upon closer review. And then this is the last one I have. And this particular artist, it was, again, known for being a painter, but he was invited to come to Tamarind for a stint, and was, again, he was a graphic artist in general. So his art still remained very graphic when he went to this type of medium. But can anyone guess where he might have studied art before he came to the Tamarind studio?
New York.
Close. Well, he wasn't, I don't actually think he was from New York. He might have stayed there for a little bit. I don't think he went to school. He ended up being a professor. So he was, I'm sure, involved in the New York circles of art. He was in Rome, Italy on a Guggenheim scholarship for a while.
Oh.
So you can't go to Rome without seeing a crucifix or two.
Mhm.
And so I think that trip had a lasting impression on him.
Is this
But how do we feel about this art? This is kind of different than stuff we've been viewing. What do you think about this one?
I've never seen the fabric looks like on the arm of the cross there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
So
understand
that looks
that.
like fabric to you?
It's what it looks like to me. What is it?
Yeah.
What's
What
this?
do other people see?
Maybe a hand.
A hand?
She
Yeah, I can't tell.
I'm with Dusty. I think it's fabric.
Fabric. Yeah.
It looks like a robe or something, a cover.
It looks like a torso when you enlarge it.
Huh.
Yeah, I
It
can
looks-
see that.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, the woman laying across the bottom and the crucifix seem very disjointed, but because love is written on the top, you're seeing maybe two very different types of love, more of a selfless love and versus more of maybe a lustful love. I don't know. Does
Yes.
anyone kind of get that feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eros and agape.
To me, that thing on the cross looks like a naked body draped over.
Yes. I see that.
That's, yeah, good point.
Yeah, I can see that too.
There's the butt.
Wow.
That's
See,
on
this
the
is why I
bottom.
love our conversations. Everyone brings
Shoulders,
different points of
first
view to make you
torso
kind of
to
see it in a
the
different angle. Well, as we know, Valentine's is this weekend, so I wish nothing but love for all of you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Next week we're doing Black History. And then Gail I guess Gail shared my email address with y'all. And if you have any interesting themes, you can tell me here, or you can shoot me an email. I got Martha's today, and Martha, you had some great themes. Unfortunately, we're an American Art Museum, so I can't hit you with your Van Gogh or your Louvre. We don't have them in our holdings,
But do you have any
there's a lot
dinosaurs?
of other ones I can help you with.
Okay. And look up my boyfriend that used to be a painter.
Oh, ooh. I didn't realize there was a love connection there. I just
There
saw
was
my
a love
friend.
connection, yes.
Well, I will look him up for sure and see if we have anything in our collection. But if you guys have any themes, I know we have Black History next month, and then the following week we have Abstract, because that was something Janine said she was interested in seeing. So Abstract will be coming down the pipe. But any other themes, I am open and ready. It makes it easier for me to make sure I'm talking about things you guys are interested in.
Do you have any impressionistic?
Forrest, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
It's always interesting, Peggy.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm glad you guys aren't sick of me yet.
Sherry
All right, well,
Colby just said
thank you.
Southern art.
I just made a note, Southern Art. We've got plenty of that. Don't you worry. We'll throw it at you. All right, but yeah, if things hit you over the weekend or over the next couple of weeks, you know where to find me. So in the meantime,
Do you have
enjoy
anything?
Valentine's Day, stay warm, and I will see y'all next week.
Stay
Thanks,
healthy.
Peggy.
Thank you,
Bye.
Peggy.
Bye.
Happy
Stay
Valentine's.
healthy.
Happy Valentine's.
Yes, wow. That's pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear either child.
Oh, no. We have the Fifth Street Cafe starting at 11:15. So when we get through with this part, we'll just roll right into it, and I'll stop recording. Okay, tomorrow we are playing Jeopardy, and I have written 2 Jeopardy games, and I hope they're not too elementary, but they're all about love. And some of them will challenge you, and some of them you're going to say, why did she put that in there? So this ought to be kind of fun.
Well, good.
I look forward to it, Martha.
Thank you.
Yeah.